what it seems. They tell me don't get caught up dreaming. Live inside reality, bro. Go and chase your dream. Been crucified, been strung on bed, done did a bid, murder ones, ducking beam. All these voices in my head make me won't scream. Shut the fuck up. Crossed out by my niggas, so my trust.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Culture Shift. I'm your host, Juice. Got my bro G with me.
Yes, sir.
And man, to start off, of course, we're gonna breaking damn news. Jared finally signed CD ass. Took long enough, but why now? Why he ain't been did this? Understand it.
I mean, we can all. Jared's done this in the past, so it's not like it's anything new. He's. I don't even think it's for news or anything like that. I just think it's Jared saying, "I'm going to see if I can have my way before you force your way." But of course, CD is too important to really play that game with, as he found out when he did it with Dez. He
Right.
did it with Zeke. He did it with Emmett back in the day. So he's always lost these big showdown battles. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I think Jared's just at that age where he just feel like I can push the button, but it's not going.
I was blown when I seen it. But what's funny is he just stubborn as hell. That's what I think. He's stubborn as
Yeah.
hell. Cause like the money is right around the ballpark of what I kind of figured it was gonna be. I ain't think it was gonna be like 150 or some shit like that.
No.
But I don't understand. I just don't understand. But now I'm trying to figure out. Wonder what they're gonna do with Dak and still you still got Michael who got to get signed.
I mean, the good thing is Micah isn't really a priority until next year. Dak, of course, I think with CD signing, I think Dak now going to get his deal. He's just going to get an extension, pretty much, probably in the ballpark of somewhat, I guess, between Baker Mayfield and somewhere above, maybe Trevor Lawrence's new deal, somewhere like that, just to kind of push his money up, but. I think it's kind of still Dak is still going to be pretty much playing on a 1 to a 2 year deal. So it's like if Dak doesn't do it this year, I think it's just one of those contracts they're just going to cut bait with.
Man, I would not sign that to another damn contract. I would not sign him to another contract, man.
I think you have to because of the cap money. I think that's the reason why you have to make this extension, because if you don't, you're looking at a bunch of dead cap money. I don't even have the numbers with me to see it, but I think that's what it boils down to. If you don't sign this extension, then you on hook for a ton of money that's gonna hit the cap. So that's why these contracts really they come down to that. It's mostly trying to figure out, okay, how much of this money is gonna hit this year, how much of this money is gonna hit later down the line. So a lot of times you see these extensions, it's just something to kind of push that money further down the line so it doesn't count against you as much in this year and whatnot.
Okay. I mean, shit. I guess. Damn. I guess they just gotta bite the bullet then.
I mean, at this point in the game, because all I can say is if they don't sign Dak this year, they're gonna lose him for sure next year because somebody's gonna pay him every bit of penny that he wants, and he's like, "I played your game. I played the last year of my contract. I'm out." I mean, there's
Somebody
nothing.
desperate.
Yeah, Dallas is not going to be able to say, "Well, we want to pay you," and you kicked this contract down the line the last time, so you're probably not going to get a redo when it comes to it.
You right, but that's they. Damn, man. But you know what? As much as I do be talking shit about them, but I do understand like it is only one person, one team that win the Super Bowl that year. But it's just that I saw this goddamn this list, man, that NFL.com or something on Instagram, and they had the Cowboys as the high. They have the highest win percentage in the last like in the Super Bowl era. I think is what it said. The Super Bowl era, if I'm not mistaken.
Could
And
be.
and it's like, bro, all y'all Super Bowls came in the '90s, type shit.
Yeah, I mean,
That shit don't add up.
well, I mean, They have been a winning franchise. I mean, they have had a bunch of 8-8 seasons too, and they just haven't really had a bunch of losing seasons. So if you just look at it over the course, like because New England was not the New England that they were under Belichick. So they had a bunch of losing seasons, and I mean the only people that come to mind are probably Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Green Bay, teams like that may have had pretty decent seasons. So I mean, they've always been a name franchise and a decent at winning franchise. They just in the last 25 going on 30 years, they just haven't been able to sniff the Super Bowl.
They don't need to be America's team then. So did you see? Hey, did you before we holla at about this Brian Flores shit and tour?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see? I read this little article, man. It was talking about the Chiefs, talking about something they could be potentially moving back to Dallas. So I was like, you know how these clips be, man. You know how like these little like them articles be. They try to get you with like. So I forgot what it said, but I just know it interested me. So I'm reading it, and it's like the owner, I guess he submitted like a $500 million plan to renovate the stadium, make it a little better or whatever the case may be. So of course the taxpayers gonna have to pay for that. They rejected it, right? So of course they rejected it. So that means he gonna have to pay for it. Man, he talking about something because of that. Like he think they might end up moving back to Dallas. I ain't even know they was in Dallas before.
Yeah, they were the Texans, playing the old team, and then of course when they moved out to Kansas, Dallas moved in, and they became the Cowboys, and the rest is history. So yeah, I mean the Hunts are really trying to play that leverage game with taxpayer money. Like, somebody need to pay for this stadium, and I'm not going to be the one.
Bro, you dead ass serious?
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing happened in San Diego. Same thing happened in Oakland. All of this, what boiled down to, these owners want their stadiums paid for because, they feel like the revenue that those stadiums will bring in for a city are far greater than what the taxpayers are going to be paying. So they look at it like, okay, I'm going to bring you in a $1 billion stadium. You're going to triple whatever I'm asking you to cost, whatever like he's saying, $500 million. Mm-hmm. He feels like they're gonna triple that just with all the revenue that the city's gonna get with, hotels, vendors, everything like that is gonna cause a boost to the economy. I mean, plus you're talking about a Patrick Mahomes led team right now, so these are, like I said, these are billionaires. These are people who aren't just people who just playing with money. Whether they made their money doing this kind of stuff before
by using other people's money. That's why.
There you go.
That's why they don't use their own goddamn money.
There you go. So I mean, why spend my $500 million when I can get you to loan me $500?
Yeah.
So I did see the article as well. All I say is, with Jerry Jones in Dallas, it ain't gonna happen. Because he's already gone on record saying in 2022 saying, I'm not going to be supportive of this agenda. So, I mean, the mayor of Dallas got on there saying, yeah, it would be nice to have the Texans come back home and blase. I mean, yeah, it looks good now because Mahomes is there and everything, and the boost that it would bring, having two teams in the city or whatnot. But I don't see it. I mean, I'd really not. Do I see them leaving Kansas City? Possibly, because it's happened so many times with franchises lately that they've just outstayed their welcome. So it's like, we'll move to the next best city. I mean, right now I think San Antonio is on the short list. I even heard them bringing up possibly Portland and places like that. But secretly, I mean, if another team is going to take Kansas City, I would like it to be somewhere like Orlando or San Diego.
Yeah, come to Florida. We'll treat you right, Mahomes. You saw how we did Brady. We'll get you right, boy. I mean, shit, he lost his wife, but We'll get you right. We'll get you right.
Yeah,
Oh wait,
yeah,
Mahomes with one of them snow bunnies, ain't he?
of course.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll get you right. We'll get you right, Mahomes. Come on to Florida, man. But you saw matter of fact, just to add on, that's some extortion shit though. That you don't pay for my shit, yo, give me a loan. I'm a threaten to leave. That's some bullshit. That's flaw as hell. That's flaw as hell. You ain't used your
That's
money all
that.
this time. So you mean tell me you can't use your money this one time? You want to borrow your money you want to borrow everything?
Well, I mean, they can do like Jared. Jared built his own stadium, as you can see, but Jared gets all of most of the revenue from that stadium
Mm-hmm.
too. So it's it's I
No
don't know.
wonder
I
he's
mean, like I
smart. He's
said,
smart, shrewd operator.
yeah. That's I don't know.
What do you think about Brian Flores, man, and what Tua said about him? I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a big fan of Brian Flores when he was with Miami, even though they suck. But shit, he was a black coach. I was glad he got hired because it wasn't a lot, and then I was surprised that it was Stephen Ross' team that did.
Plus,
But I was shocked, man. I was blowed when Tua came out and said what he said, and I'm a firm believer in you treat everybody fair but not the same. But I mean, damn, to if he really said those things like that, and then he didn't deny it when he did make his
he's
little statement. You
you
know what I'm
know
saying? I grew. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking me up. Wonder Tua looked like that. That man ain't had no confidence.
well. I'll say this. I think Tua and Brian both on that fine line of when we talk trying to motivate ourselves, motivate our kids, and a coach to a player, per basis. So, I mean, can I talk to my child like that and would they receive it the same? Because if I had a boy, I probably would be hard on him. I don't know if I said, and probably, you know what? I'll be honest. I probably would say some of the words that Brian used on Tua if he was playing like that or whatnot.
Mm,
I'd be
mm,
like, yeah, you suck today.
mm.
And so me criticizing my child, I believe they will receive it totally different than how Tua probably perceived it from his head coach because his head coach before him probably was just as tough on him, but probably didn't say it in that manner.
Yeah, that degrading way.
Yeah. So all I would say, I just think that they had a real fluid situation because Brian didn't really want Tua as much as the organization pushed Tua on him. So you have to think about him like, all right, so I got to get the most out of somebody I don't really want. And like you said, I'm really in a situation where I'm really the scapegoat for whatever goes on here. But you know what? Even in that situation, what was his record? He was above 500 both
Mm.
years. So yeah, I mean, what we can look at now is like Tua looked pedestrian when Brian Flores was his coach, and he looks like a totally different quarterback now that Mike McDaniels has his hand on it. And
Definitely.
I would, I
But Brian Flores ain't have Tyreek Hill though. Let me just throw that in
well,
there. Devon A.
this
Chan.
one, I mean, I throw that out there as well. But I mean, I would also say that Brian Flores is a defensive minded coach as well. So I don't
Okay, you
think
got me. Yeah.
he wasn't going to really put as much innovation into Tua's game as much as Mike McDaniels came in and said,
Yeah.
okay, this is my first head coaching job. I need to do whatever schemes, whatever works that's going to make Tua flourish as best as he can. But okay, we even with that
I'm with you on
said,
that though. I'm with
but even with that said, Tua still looked kind of pedestrian, even when the games really were getting close, when they got tight, when they really needed him to step up and make some plays. Tua reverted back to some of his old ways.
you.
He
Mm-hmm.
couldn't move the ball against Kansas City in the playoffs. He couldn't move the ball in the last of the regular season when they needed to win a game just to get the division crown. So it's kind of like, okay, is Brian Flores probably, like you said, he stood up as a man and said, hey, I need to grow some. I didn't probably need to use those terms with someone. But you also got to remember too, Brian Flores came from a Belichick tree where they treated Brady like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, Brady was able to take it, say, look, hey, teammates. I mean, Brady came out in the statement himself and said, look, if I can take it, then my teammates are looking like, oh, I know I better step my game up, because if Brady can get cussed out like this and told and criticized, then I know I need to be on my P's and Q's, because I know the heat can come from me at any time. So, I mean, honestly, I'll say this. I don't really feel sympathy for Tua, because I think, he just ran into someone who was really a hard coach. And I mean, I would just only say that if he had grew up in the era that we grew up in, he would have really, he would have gotten some harsher criticism than just "you suck." I mean, so I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's kind of like I compare it to, but I know it's a whole lot different. When soldiers go into boot camp and places like that, they break them in. They degrade them. They make them feel like they're the worst of the worst, only because they want them to build up that callous for when you're out on that battlefield. You cannot be thinking about my feelings, or because it's going to break your concentration on what you are assigned to do. I mean, like I said, it's totally different with a football player and a soldier, and I get it, and I don't want to degrade anyone who's been in the military, because I know I haven't been in it, but I know family members who have, and I know the stories they told me they had to go through, so I understand it. But that's what I'm saying. A drill sergeant will put that in your head, like, oh, you're just a maggot. You're just this, and you need to get out of my line and everything like that. And he's only trying to say, okay, either I break you as a friendly person, or the enemy is going to break you, and they're not going to worry about your downfall.
It's going to be much worse, because I'm doing this shit out of love.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I guess we're going to... Damn, I just hate that it came out like that, because, the whole situation that Brian Flores was having with the league now. Yeah. And, him trying to build himself back up to get a coaching position. You know what I'm saying? And just Tua coming out like that. And not only that, it's a white coach now who treating you like this. You get what I'm saying? So it's just so many different dynamics with that. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But I guess we'll see. But Tua... I don't know, man. If that was true, like, cause like I don't mind being criticized and shit, but man, just don't cuss me and don't degrade me and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of, that's like how I feel. Cause shit, we all grown out here. You know what I'm saying? So
it goes to what we're gonna talk about later with the difference in eras. Cause like I said, though, I mean, I get it. Even as a man, you don't want another man making you feel smaller than you are, trying to talk you down.
Right,
you can't talk to me like I'm a man. But like I said, I think it comes from one where Flores came from, and it's from, like, he's trying to say, look, if I can break you, then I know your opponent's gonna break you. So I want you to toughen yourself where you feel that you're cracking. Like, if I'm making you crack, then your opponent's over there telling you everything that your mama don't want to hear. Yeah. So, I mean, come on, you got to take it and build yourself up from it. That's all I can say. I mean, I've heard worse, and I was 6 years old playing football, and my coaches were...
Me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah. And this was just playing, like, I ain't really play organized football, but yeah. But it's been a lot of change throughout the NFL this off season. Big names, small names, nobody. But playoff team, do you feel like has the least chance to make it this year, or just won't make it this year? I know who mine's gonna be.
I want you to go first, because I want to hear this.
It's gonna be Buffalo. It's gonna be Buffalo. I think it's gonna be Buffalo. Love Josh, and I hope I'm wrong though. So this kind of this kind of a two-way motive right here. What I'm doing, G. On the one
Okay.
hand, I'm trying to throw some shit out there in hopes that I'm
So it won't
wrong.
stick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so hopefully I'm wrong, and then the motherfucker go out there and ball. You know what I'm talking about? Cause that's what I hope he do. But but uh yeah, cause I just feel like that now they did draft the receiver, but I just feel like I don't really know what Josh Allen is gonna be like post Stephon Diggs, and it's just me being real because I know I know he still got Kincaid, but before Diggs was there, I mean he was kind of much just like a gunslinger, but I mean he was still good, but he wasn't that Josh Allen that we seen, once he got that number one receiver in Stephon Diggs. And I know he gonna make a lot of shit happen. I'm rooting for him, but I just don't know, where they kind of stand at. And I know it's other teams that I could choose from. Pittsburgh, they made it. Hell, the Bucks. Um, who else? Eagles. I mean, there's other teams that I could pick, but
Nah, the
and
Eagles gonna
really,
make it.
really, I could say Pittsburgh, but I'm just saying like as I just think
In your
Buffalo.
mind. I got
I
you.
don't really know what I'm saying, what I'm gonna get from because they lost their receivers. Hell, even the other receiver that you did have that didn't really show up that much, Gabe Davis gone. So it's like shit. I don't really know what the fuck they working with. Then on the defensive side, Matt Milano done got hurt again, and he gone again. So this shit is just like I don't know what the hell we gonna expect from Buffalo this year, bro. I really don't. Even with Joe Brady being over there, I know they're gonna run the ball a lot.
Yeah. I mean, so I didn't pick Buffalo, of course, but I'll counter your parts to saying I think they were a playoff team before Diggs, right? Okay. So in the way I look at it, in the last 7 games last year, they were out of the playoffs, but they played better ball in order to make the playoffs and won the division and everything, right? And in those 7 games, Diggs gave you nothing.
Nothing.
And I can
I see what
attest to
you're
that
saying.
because he
Look, Coach, I
was
see
my
what you're
receiver.
saying. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. I see what you're
So
saying.
even with Gabe Davis and Diggs giving you little to nothing in those 7 games, they were still a competent offense and winning games.
Leaning on that
And pretty
run.
much, and yeah,
Yeah.
they played better ball. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say it's tough because of the division they're in. I do get that, and the conference they're in is going to
That's
be
what I was.
tough as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't pick them. I know
I
I'm
know
about
you
to
went
shock the world.
Pittsburgh. Oh shit! You ain't
Nope.
picked Pittsburgh?
Nope. They were considered. They were like
Wait.
top 4.
Hold up.
But
Hold on. You say you finna shot the word. Hold on.
yeah,
It can't be Philly. Oh, G. Hold up, G. You might hold on, bro. I know you ain't about to say. I know you ain't about to say Baltimore. I'm gonna let you
no.
go. That's my last pick, man. I ain't.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go.
I wish Keith was here because this one would really touch his heart a little bit.
Oh, you finna say Detroit?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna let you go.
It's Super Bowl pick. The Texans.
Oh, Houston. Okay, that sophomore slump gonna come?
I don't think it's a sophomore slump. I'll just say this: Houston finished 9-8 last year, right, to get into the playoffs,
Right, right.
which was only a game ahead of Jacksonville and Indianapolis. And what happened last year with both those teams, their roster sucked near the end of the season. They didn't have anything. So
Richardson got
pretty
hurt.
much
Yeah.
Houston was competing with themselves, really. So for them to go 9-8 last year and really have I think what you can call an easier schedule last year because of them being the bottom record team. If you look at this year, they first got the 26 strength of schedule. And on top of that, between week 7 and 17, they got to play against 6 playoff teams from last year. Couple that with the fact that the Jets and Cincinnati didn't make the playoffs last year. You know they're going to be much better this year and probably in the playoff hunt. And you're talking about teams like the Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Dolphins, and Bills still with a pretty good, decent chance to make the playoffs.
Mm.
So you're talking about 9 teams. Somebody's gonna get left out, right? And like I said, Houston has a schedule of Green Bay, at Green Bay, at the Jets, at Dallas, and at Kansas City, plus games with Buffalo, Detroit, and Baltimore. So that's not a schedule that I want to say is going to lend them to make 10-6 or, one of those top playoff records. So if they get back to 9-8 this year, I think that's pretty much what they're 9-8, maybe 10-7, somewhere like that. But that might not lend them to making the playoffs. So I would be very weary because what's going to happen is I think their first 5 games are like winnable games. So they might start off pretty hot, looking like 4-1, maybe 3-2, maybe because of slip up here and there. But then when they hit the back half of that schedule and you start wearing down and stuff like that, and like I said, you got a second year quarterback that people are going to be pretty much studying all the tape and seeing what his flaws are. It's sketchy. I know we on the bandwagon because of what they did, but it's sketchy at best.
Man, that offense looks stupid. I'd be blowed if they don't make the playoffs, G. Damn, you fucked me up with that one. I ain't expect you to say them. Shit, you had so many teams you could have said, G, and I promise I did not expect you to say Houston.
Your team was, trust me, I had them in my radar, but then I looked at it, I said, let me think about it.
What?
I mean, come on.
What?
The Bucks this year, they aren't.
Because what the Falcons did? Bro,
if y'all don't win, okay, let me see that. If y'all don't win the division, how y'all making the playoffs?
They not better than us though, so we're gonna win the division.
But okay, well, there we go.
Didn't we win it the last 3-4 years? Since Brady
didn't win it the year after Brady left, right?
Yes, we did with Mayfield. We
just
won it.
Mayfield won last year.
We've won it every single year since the year
Since the
year after we won the Super Bowl. Well, the first year Brady was there, we didn't win it, but every year after that, we won it. Yeah, get out my face. Every year.
That was sad to win it one year. What was you, 8-9, 7-10?
I don't give a damn. We won that bitch though, G.
Had to beat the Panthers out in the last game because the Panthers was 6-10 going into the game, and yeah.
Hey, I love this division. I love it.
I know you do.
I love it. Hey, listen though. Before we jump into some basketball, man, actually, I got 2 quick questions. One of them is, I want to know what rookies impressed you the most. But before you answer that, please tell me this shit. You got to break this shit down for me. How the fuck can college players then play college football for 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years, G? Without ever going to the draft, bro. They just sitting there coming back every year, bro. Every year they just coming back to play, bro. What the fuck is wrong with these people? You gotta explain that shit to me, bro. What the fuck is the point? The only thing I can think of before you answer, is that these players ain't good enough to go to the NFL and they know it, so they just keep coming back to the school to play because that's the only place they can play.
Eventually, you run out of eligibility anyway. The only thing is
how long was fucking eligible? I mean, okay, I'm gonna let you go, man.
Okay.
This shit blowing me.
So a lot of it happened during the COVID year. I know that happened because a lot of players gained a year of eligibility due to COVID. For whatever reason, I can't remember why, but
I remember that happening.
So they were kind of giving players an extra year from that. I know before the transfer rule, a lot of people were gaining a year eligibility for that. Some people were gaining years of eligibility for non-football related injuries and things like that, or illness to the family and things of that nature. So they were able to gain another year of eligibility. If I'm not mistaken, you can gain years from graduate school or something like that. I mean, college football has a lot of different rules that allow for eligibility and things like that. But now, come on, you're not really seeing your top players
That's
stay
what
in
I'm
school
saying.
more
That's why I
than
thought that they just couldn't
yeah.
make it. Gee, they just staying in
Nah,
that bitch playing.
it ain't because you can just keep playing. It's just different rules that you can keep going back for. But I mean, once a person realizes that they can make the draft, they're going for the draft. It's not like
Right.
you're just gonna be
Right.
like, okay, I'm finna be a 6-year senior. Let me see if I can keep on padding my stats. And somebody, the only person I can think of recent that's done that is actually your quarterback. The one that they drafted from Florida. I can't even think of his name
Kyle
now.
Trask?
Yeah. So I know
Oh.
Kyle Trask. I think he went 5 years, like for eligibility and whatnot. And
Damn.
like he probably wouldn't have gotten drafted until he had that run that he made at Florida. Emory Jones is somebody else I can think of because he was a Florida player as well. I follow the Gators, so that's why I know some of these
Yeah,
people.
we know.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, you're not really gonna find your top NFL players really staying in school that long, but you might find a person here and there that's like on the cusp, and they probably need something to kind of push them over the top. So you may see them return and kind of try to have this solidified year that'll give them at least a free agent or undrafted or something look at the NFL because I mean, what else you gonna do when you're sitting in college and you can't make it to the NFL and
That's what I was trying to figure out, G. Oh, shit, I'm like, bro, I seen the motherfucker, bro, they keep just there. He's just there. Like, bro, this ain't making no sense to me. That's why I said, bro, I gotta ask you about it. I gotta ask you about
yeah.
that shit. But all the rookies, man, that's been playing this preseason, who's impressed you the most? And I know for me, Bo Nix.
You
Because
stole my answer.
damn, you little mother skunker, you. But nah, because like, bro, I'm looking at this man. They done lost Jerry Judy. So, then it's like, bro, everything. I'm just looking at them as Russ and Judy got. Now I know it's other little intricate pieces, but I'm just looking at it as the main names. Russ and Judy gone. Here come Bo Nix, and he's doing what you couldn't do. And I know it's just a preseason, so I ain't really like, but regardless, he still looked goddamn good. He looked like he was in command of that shit. He was running that shit. Like, the motherfucker looked good. And in my mind, I know Sean Payton over there just like, God damn it, finally. Finally. I knew he wasn't finna start no goddamn Stidham. I knew Stiddy wasn't finna get it, bro. I knew Stiddy wasn't finna go in that motherfucker.
I mean,
Who the fuck gave him that nickname? Steady. But what you say?
Who gonna start Steady or Zach Wilson?
Gee, I'm so glad you brought up Zach Wilson because as you can see, I ain't even say nothing about him. I forgot. Listen, I saw an article, bro. They was real deal hyping Zach Wilson. He's on fire out there. He's slinging it. He's looking different. Man, if y'all shut your ass up. But I mean, man, this it, man.
I mean, you know what? He may look a lot different now. He's out of that New York pressure. So I will say, I hope he can go land him somewhere and at least maybe prove that he's not as bad as Nathan Peterman, because that has to be the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life play.
Gee, oh my mother, boy, G, oh my fucking God, boy, that's the. In the fact that these motherfuckers got the audacity to keep this bitch in the league, bro, and Kaepernick can't get no job.
Exactly.
Oh hell no! Nah. I'm so glad, bro. Oh my God, because he looks so horrible. Greg, I've never seen a quarterback look worse than him ever in my life. Let me see something real quick. Hold up. Hold the fuck up, G. G. Oh my God! Nah, listen. First of all, I don't even give a fuck that I'm finna take y'all time. Or I don't even care at this point. So hold on, G. Hold up. I got to for the one time, cause this is just This shit ridiculous, G. This man is straight. I ain't never ever in my life so fucking sorry ass bastard, boy. I mean, this dude straight garbage.
Fair
What a
use.
sound.
Fair use.
Fair use.
That's Charles Clay. Peterman from the pocket on target.
Oh, I forgot about Kelvin Benjamin, G.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot all about Benjamin.
Yeah.
We'll check on that injury as Peterman takes up the run and gets to the 40.
Now they know they some bitches. They trying to show the damn good plays before they show the goddamn sorry shit.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Toomer has it.
Hey, y'all, that ain't it. He threw 5 of them bitches, y'all. He threw 5.
Second down, Peterman.
I mean, they seemed like they were back to back. They were just coming.
The fact that he got another fucking team to get him is ridiculous. Look at this shit, G. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Games, a lot of people look at the defense,
Oh my god.
The offense was not playing their complementary role.
I think he worse than Curtis Painter was. That year Peyton Manning went down with that neck injury, man.
Yeah. No, yeah. Peterman, the worst quarterback in the league.
Ever in the
in the history of the NFL.
Oh my god.
And he just throw him up there for him. Just like, here,
just
get this.
Him, G, get. He took it again. Oh my god. Oh my god. And see, the Bills ought to be a damn shame of themselves that they kept that man in the game.
Shit, damn, nothing else they could do. They had to prove a point. Who
Oh
was that
my
quarterback
God.
then?
That's what I'm
Taylor,
trying to figure out.
Tyrod Taylor?
Oh, it was Tyrod.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all get our point. They was garbage. He was garbage. The worst quarterback. We just couldn't bring him up without showing some highlights. But yeah, man, Bo Nix, man, look, he looking good, man. He looking good out there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was my pick as well. Like I said, I mean, when you got to pick between Zach Wilson and Stidham, it's like, okay, no, thank you. and Bo Nix is a proven quarterback. I mean, he started off at Auburn, and he looked kind of bad being in the SEC, where he was kind of hyped up to be, pretty good. But when he went out to Oregon and kind of rejuvenated his career, and you saw him start really being a quarterback, you could tell that he was a different person than he was before he started in college. And so I just kind of figured it would carry over to, like him showing that maturity and really being able to definitely beat out those two. I mean, I don't know how good he's going to be because, like you said, that was a preseason game against backup, but he just looked the part. It's like you could tell the offense was fluid up under him as opposed to, just whatever Peyton was trying to do last year. Just, you just didn't know.
Almost was like, God damn, maybe Sean Payton was just a product of damn Drew Brees. I ain't gonna lie to you, G. I was like, damn, maybe he just a name. But
maybe
we're gonna see. We're gonna see for sure. So we're gonna talk about some basketball. Got a couple basketball topics. And we're gonna start off with, before we get into the one with Anthony Edwards and Magic Johnson and shit, I just wanna gloss over something that I saw. and it was Damian Lillard, man, talking about how he feel like he don't get enough credit. So, and I'm gonna read his statement. He say, they definitely don't talk about it. My shooting. They act like I've not been doing it. Excuse me. They act like I've not been doing what I've been doing for 13 years. When I think about my time in the league, there haven't been many people who've doing what I've done over and over. But I think people just get bored with consistency. I ain't loud, but damn, I've been doing it that long and winning. It ain't like that. It ain't like I've been doing it and I'm just playing for a team that never makes the playoff. So my first point though is that the man is delusional as hell if he think he don't get no type of appreciation. Because I looked up some shit. Okay. This motherfucker, he made the top 75 anniversary team. Does Damian Lillard got a championship? Okay, so these are the people he made it over: Dwight Howard, Klay Thompson, Klay fucking Thompson, Kyrie Irving, fucking Irving, Pau Gasol, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. Okay, this is just the name of
Tracy McGrady.
I could have kept going, but I just named a few. But you get my point. You feel what I'm saying? So this man suffered first round sweeps in 17, 18, and 20. Missed the playoffs in 2023. He still got all NBA and All-Star selections. Okay? Then when he got there, his franchise, he had them do it. They got LaMarcus Aldridge out of there so that they can get arranged to him, the keys to the city to him. Then they kept his coach. They kept his coach there, Terry Stotts. They kept his ass there. They kept him there for him. Check this out, G. This is something I didn't even fucking know. Check me out, G. Check this shit out. So when he goes over there to Milwaukee and he plays with Giannis, remember when the reports came out about Adrian Griffin getting fired and all of that shit and this and that? But the blame with the Giannis. That's who I saw it. The blame went to the blame with the Giannis. Well, Giannis doing this. He didn't agree with this. Blah 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 blah. All the while it was Damian Lillard who was having problems with him like that. But his name never came up. That's my point. His name never came. I didn't see it. So if I could be wrong, but I ain't never see it.
Yeah, I heard a couple of rumblings about that.
So I'm gonna leave it with this though, G, because this is the biggest thing that I feel like, because as great as Lillard's been, there's a reason he's not mentioned in the same breath as Curry. Because check this out, Steph Curry, he shot 40%. No, excuse me, Damian Lillard has only shot 40% from three one time in his career. Curry's worst shooting season is 38%, which is better than Lillard's career average of 37%.
Wow.
So what the exactly? Wow. So it's like, bruh, where are you not being appreciated, bruh? Where? Like, what more do you want motherfuckers to say? Can you get a ring first? Then maybe people can say what it is. Maybe it's something that people not saying that he want people to say, and maybe they would if he got a championship ring. I ain't picking. I might pick Damian Lillard over Klay, maybe, but Klay got championships. 4. That man was all before that ACL, one of the best two-way guards. Exactly. Yep. That man was a beast on defense. So he wasn't just an offensive player like Lillard is. Oh, pre ACL tear, give me Klay Thompson. And I'm damn sure taking Kyrie over Damian, so I don't even understand how he got picked over him. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, you made all the good points. I mean, I would only say I think Lillard is looking for validation more so from media and from fans, more so than it is respect from. Because I mean, it's clear he has the respect of his peers. I mean, they might chirp at him and go at him like Westbrook and Paul George and numerous others have done, but he's always been a battle-tested guard that he shows he can come out and top even in those matchups. And I mean, I think that people go at him like that is because he's more mild-mannered. He's not going to really, make the noise and things like that. So he, like you said, he's not going to be controversial. He's not going to be someone who brings a lot of attention. I mean, the worst thing I've heard from him is just like the rumblings of trying to leave Portland and forcing the trade and things like that. I mean, that's and I'm pretty sure he had some little small incidents here and there, but I would say I think for him, he's just looking for more love and more maybe adoration that's shown toward the other guards. Maybe like you said, like Curry gets his well-deserved kudos from the media and everything. I mean, even someone like Westbrook is like someone who just draws attention. But I mean, Westbrook draws that attention because of his passion to play and the way he plays and the way he's just outspoken and whatnot. And so that's not Lillard. And he just had to understand, like, sometimes as a basketball player, you're not going to be perceived as good as you are until you're retired. Because you can look at the eras of different players who playing with, other star players, and they just don't get that recognition. I mean, it's kind of like you just get lost in the sauce. Either you're creme de la creme or you just somewhere in between as a as a star. I mean, because like I said, I think the NBA is trying to create too many superstars, whereas there are only 2 or 3 people who are really going to be recognized as a superstar. So, I mean, if you are quietly doing your thing and you are making your statistics, and like I said, to me, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I still, like you said, I'm questionable of the top 75 because I think there are just other players that could have been chosen over both he and AD at this point. But neither here nor there. I mean, that should let him know that he's recognized as one of the great players of all time and not just now.
Exactly.
Because you've gotten the recognition that, hey, you're a top 75 player, like Rashad McCants said. Out of 5,000 players in league history, you're recognized as a top 75. So that lets you know you are being, recognized for your game. But I think, and like I said, I don't know it, and he should expand on it even more. He just needs to say, hey, I just think the fans aren't giving me the love that I believe, or that he just feels like he should be top 2 with he and Steph being recognized as the top guards, because I don't even consider them point guards anymore.
Yeah, me.
They're just guards. I mean, they're just they're just a hybrid guard. I mean, you handle the ball, you shoot. That's what you do. So I mean, you're recognized still as one of those top guards. So I don't know what more he can want. And I would just say for him, I mean, hey, if you want the recognition, win the championship, because that's what starts the conversation. Conversation starts with the championship. So despite whatever you want to do in life, most people aren't going to recognize you until you either have the best stats ever or either you have the most rings. So you got to start somewhere.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Well, we going to end it with this last topic. And this one, man, I really just want to hear what you got to say about it, because I kind of, I looked at it and I kind of seen, Magic kind of get his little take, and I was like, damn, okay. But I did think it was a little asinine that Anthony Edwards would say that the only skilled player back then was MJ. The floor is yours.
I mean, all I can say for Anthony Edwards is either this is an example of just sticking the mic in someone's face, and either they just want a hot take or it's just complete ignorance. So maybe for him it's somewhere in between. Maybe he just like, because he's a smug kind of person. You can tell his takes are kind of like, blah, blah, blah. And so sometimes I don't even really take them as serious as other people, but I can see why it would rub feathers of players who played back then. And so it's so many ways to go with this, but I'll start with the easiest one. The easiest one to me is Anthony Edwards said that players weren't as skilled back then. So he's really saying that his era is the most skilled basketball era of all time. And his favorite player is Kevin Durant, coming from his mouth. So that means in his eyes, if you can't handle the ball and really shoot the ball as well as KD, then you have no skill. So, and I guess when he look at Jordan, he's saying that Jordan defied the fact that that no one in that era could do those things that people can do today. So I would challenge Anthony Edwards first to say, what is your definition of skills in today's game? Because if you are only referring to the fact that a lot of players can shoot a step back three or shoot the three and have crazy handles, I would implore him to really see if they could do all that when the defense is playing at a top-notch level. I mean, he would honestly have to go back and be like, okay, let me see if defenses are can everyone in the league still make these kind of shots and make these kind of moves if the defense was able to play with the hand checking and the arm bar rule that was used back in the 80s and 90s. Would they be able to and I would implore them also, I think for me, a skill is knowing how to get to your spot on the floor and make a shot, whereas the defense is pretty much draped all over you.
Yep.
Whereas, like I say, in today's rules, it's a little more loose, a little more letting you carry the ball a little more, letting you perform walks, letting you kind of have more one-on-one play, whereas those players had to know, okay, if I get here and I can't go all the way to the rim, I need to learn how to shoot this pull-up, make a shot off the backboard. All of those things are what I would call skills. I would also implore to him that a person who has a drop step, a up and under move, all of those are considered skills back in back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, you couldn't just get your shot off with one dribble. And it's so funny because I've seen Anthony Edwards do an up and under, and he traveled like 6 times doing it. So, I mean, like, if you calling those skills, I mean, have at it. But I would just say, to me, it's more disrespectful too, because players before him, they would recognize the players that came before them and say, hey, they paved the way for me to make it, to be able to do the things that I'm doing. I mean, they might not have been as great as me or I believe as great as me, but they had a place in the league to make it where it is going now, or where it's going to go in the future. So, I mean, all of those players said, hey, these people before me were people I studied. I learned their game to make my game better than it is. So, I mean, Anthony Edwards can't tell me he hasn't. If he's saying that he didn't really look at games back then or look at that era, then he's really cheating himself, because there are so many other players that he can learn different things from that can make his game even better than what it is. And like I said,
yep.
If the NBA ever goes back to where they let them play defense, I just wonder if a lot of these players are they going to be as good as their numbers are showing right now? Because it's harder to get your shot off when you have someone draped all over you, and you got to decide, okay, how do I get to my spot on the court? And that's, like, to me, that is a skill. So
that's a good point.
I know. That's a good point. So I know what Magic said. Magic was like, you know what? I'm gonna take
get
the
some
high
rings,
road.
man. There you go.
Magic took the high road because he could have really laid into him and been like, look, if I didn't have skill, why am I all NBA, 5-time champion, MVP, all of these things that Magic could have just said about himself to show you that he's as skilled a player as you will ever see. Because Magic, first of all, was fundamental with razzle dazzle, with, like, those are skills that you just can't teach some players. I mean, Magic was an all-time great because of what he was able to do on the basketball court. So he could have, like I said, he could have laid into Anthony and been like this and that, but he really took the high road and just said, look, when you get a championship, then we can talk about this. And I agree, because why would you disrespect all of those players? I mean, you disrespecting them, the Larry Birds, the Dr. J's, the Keem Olajuwons, the John Stocktons. I mean, you just like you just really saying that none of these players could hold a candle in this era of basketball, which I just adamantly disagree.
I feel like to be real, not to cut you off. I just feel like they could past era could. I feel like because of the rules was much harder back then. I don't know if this era could play in that era. But I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them probably could. But you get what I'm trying to say. I think it'd be a little bit more harder for them to adjust, right? But I think it'll be a little bit more harder for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always like I said. I mean, it's easier to make yourself look skilled when you're scoring 30 points, but you are putting up 10, 12 threes a night, and you get into the free throw line 7, 8 times, and most of that coming because you going wide open down the lane and getting hit, because somebody's trying to run all the way from the 3-point line to come try to play defense on you. It's like you're really saying that because y'all are scoring is more so the skill, whereas the skill back then to them was the fact like you had to play defense, you had to play offense to really be on the court, and you had to develop some kind of skill to get a shot off because teams weren't letting you just get open shots. It was like you're going to have to find a way to get by a defender. You're going to have to find a way to get around a defender. You're going to have to find a way to go over a defender. I mean, a lot of those dudes, when they were dunking on somebody, they were dunking on like 3 and 4 people up under the goal at one time. It's not like, he's one-on-one and you blow by him and then here come your center coming over to try to block and it's too late because you up in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a different time. I mean, when you seen a lot of those dunks back in the day, they had 3 and 4 people standing up under the rim waiting on them. And so when they either had to go to the next level to do it or whatnot. But I'll close with this because I heard this from a guy I was listening to on YouTube. He was talking about like these days, like you said, today's NBA players don't really know what it's like to really play back in the NBA back then because one of his favorite players was Randolph Childress, who a lot of people might not know, but he played with Tim Duncan at Wake Forest. And all I can tell you is if Tim Duncan that he is today was the second fiddle to Randolph Childress, that's how good he was. The offense ran through him. And when you talk about Steph Curry and those step-back threes and how good of a shooter Steph Curry was, I implore you to go look at some of Randolph Childress' highlights from college. And he has one of the most embarrassing threes that you will ever see on a player before. So when he made it to the NBA, though, it was a whole different ball game because guess what they did to him? That hand check and that bumping him and everything else, that physicality that they put on you in the NBA, it derailed his career. He couldn't take those bumps and bruises and still put up the kind of shots he was putting. And like I said, most people, they would take your legs out. Like if you were a jump shooter, they were taking your legs out, not literally like going up under you, but they were putting so much wear and tear on you that by the time you were ready to shoot that jump shot, you were tired.
Yeah, you can't even get up. You can't even pull up.
So I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm like Magic. It's like sometimes you just don't even have to respond to comments because it just lowers your IQ trying to do so.
Damn. Come on, Anthony. You gotta win your championship, bro. That's what the great Magic Johnson said.
Hey,
but maybe he sided with MJ. Maybe he sided with MJ because everybody trying to compare him to MJ a little bit. But we'll see how all that pan out. Looking forward to the NBA season, but I'm damn sure looking forward to the NFL season. Looking forward to the NFL season. But we're gonna end it there, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.
Things ain't what it seem. They tell me don't get caught up dreaming. Live inside reality, bro. Go and chase your dream. Been